Good day, everyone. I am Jed Escosapin from BSGL and Q202, and today I'll be presenting a fascinating study titled Seismic Signatures of Fluctuating Fragmentation in Volcanic Eruptions. So, the study was authored by Kopes, Lam, and Dunham from Stanford University in 2025. So, this work explores how seismic signals can be used to remotely detect internal volcanic processes, particularly the unsteady fragmentation of magma, which plays a key role in eruption explosivity. So, let's begin by understanding why studying fragmentation is so important when it comes to volcanic eruptions. Fragmentation is the process where rising magma breaks apart into gas particle mixtures, triggering explosive eruptions. Now, this process is central to understanding eruption intensity and the hazard potential. However, because it occurs within the volcano's upper conduit, hundreds of meters below the surface, it remains difficult to observe directly. So, this is where seismic monitoring becomes vital. So, the authors emphasize that as magma rises and undergoes decompression, it transitioned from laminar to turbulent flow, particularly as gas volume increases. So these transitions cause physical disturbances in the conduit, producing seismic waves. So studying these seismic signatures allows us to indirectly observe internal conduit processes and detect shifts in eruption dynamics that would be that would otherwise be hidden. So now that we know why it matters, let's take a closer look at the physical mechanisms behind magma fragmentation. So, Mach fragmentation occurs when the gas volume fraction of the ascending magma exceeds a critical threshold, typically around 0.75. So, this marks a brittle transition in the magma's behavior, initiating fracturing and a dramatic reduction in wall drag. So, as magma accelerates upward, fluctuations in fragmentation depth and wall shear stress emerge as major contributor to seismic wave generation. So, this concept is visualized in this figure. The image is divided into two panels. The left shows a steady state eruption with fragmentation occurring at a fixed depth, while the right panel depicts a perturbed state with a shifted fragmentation, front and altered wall stress. So the red arrows indicates the two sources of seismic force, one from changes in fragmentation depth and another from variations in shear stress. This schematic lays the foundation for understanding how internal conduit dynamics generate observable seismic signals. So, with that understanding in mind, let's explore how these internal forces translate into observable seismic signals. So, the authors identified two primary drivers of seismic forces during an eruption: the changes in fragmentation depth and variation in wall shear stress due to viscosity shifts in the magma. Even a 10-meter change in the depth of fragmentation can create seismic force fluctuations large enough to generate observable ground motion at stations a few kilometers from the volcano. These forces produce very long period or VLP and low frequency tremor signals bands commonly detected during explosive eruptions. So by quantifying these contributions, the study shows that unsteady fragmentation is not only physically significant but also potentially trackable in real time using seismic data. So to investigate this in more detail, the authors built a computational model to simulate the effects. So to simulate these complex dynamics, the authors employed a QVOLC, a quasi 1D unsteady conduit flow model. So this model captures multi-phase magma behavior and tracks how variations in crystal content affecting viscosity move through the conduit. So by introducing different types of heterogeneities at the base, they generated synthetic seismic signals using moment tensor calculations and Green's function convolution. The three injection profiles modeled were a Gaussian pulse representing a single viscous magma blob, sinusoidal variations simulating periodic heterogeneity, and stochastic fluctuations mimicking natural variability. So this modeling approach provides a clear bridge between internal magma behavior and external seismic observation. Now let's examine the first scenario, a single high viscosity parcel moving through the conduit. So in the first simulation, a Gaussian pulse represented a parcel of magma with elevated crystallinity and viscosity. So as this parcel rose, it caused pressure above to drop and forced the fragmentation front downward. So once it fragmented, the front rebounded. This dynamic movement produced a distinct very long period seismic signals and a dramatic 50% reduction in mass eruption rate. So the results are illustrated in the next figures. So this figure shows how pressure, washer stress, and velocity evolved as the viscous parcel ascended. You'll notice how the fragmentation depth shifted and how the eruption rate temporarily declined. So this next figure displays the synthetic seismograms in both radial and vertical components. A clear VLP signal appears during the fragmentation. So this model demonstrates how a single viscous intrusion can generate seismic and mass flux signatures recognizable in real monitoring data. Building on that, what happens when the input magma varies continuously in time? So the authors explored this through a sinusoidal case. Next is the authors examine sinusoidal variation in crystal content representing a magma column composed of alternating high and low viscosity parcels. So this induced periodic changes in fragmentation depth and wall shear stress, which in turn produce rhythmic seismic signals. So this next figures highlights the results. So this figure shows periodic fluctuations in seismic force and moment tensors at various injection frequencies. So this next figure represents the synthetic seismograms, which displays waveforms whose amplitudes decrease as injection frequency increases. Finally, this figure shows the corresponding power spectral densities or PSDs with peaks at the injection frequencies and their overtones. These results confirm that periodic magma heterogeneity leads to periodic seismic output, information that could be used to infer the flow structure during an eruption. But real magma is rarely so tidy. So to stimulate natural complexity, the authors also examined the fully stochastic input. Finally, the study models stochastic or random variation in crystal content, reflecting the chaotic mixing often observed in natural magmatic systems. The simulation produced a seismic signals that closely resemble eruption tremor observed in real-world events. So this next figure illustrates the impact. So this figure shows seismic force and moment histories that fluctuate unpredictably. This one presents synthetic seismograms with complex broadband signals lacking any obvious periodicity, hallmarks of volcanic tremor. So this figure shows the vertical velocity PSDs for two cases with different correlation times. Shorter correlation times produce broader and higher frequency spectra. So the images suggest that stochastic fragmentation driven by natural variability in magma composition may be plausible physical source of volcanic tremor. So what does this all mean for real-world eruption forecasting and hazard monitoring? So this study has directed implications for eruption monitoring. Seismic signals, particularly in the very long period and tremor bands, can provide early indicators of evolving eruption conditions. And for instance, the arrival of high crystal content magma may be detected through a VLP signal and a drop in mass eruption rate. Likewise, changes in fragmentation behavior and flow dynamics may be inferred from shifts in seismic amplitude and frequency content. The authors argued that for the integration of seismic data with infrasound and plume monitoring to improve eruption forecasting, especially in systems where direct observation is limited. So wrap up by reviewing the key findings and looking ahead to the future directions. In summary, this study shows that fluctuating fragmentation is a significant source of seismic wave generation in explosive volcanic eruptions. Seismic force variations arise from shifts in fragmentation depth and changes in wall shear stress, both of which are affected by magma viscosity. So, notably, stochastic variations produce seismic signals resembling real eruption tremor. So looking ahead, the authors recommend refining the model to include turbulence flow and more realistic magma rheology. Validating the predictions with data from active volcanoes could pave the way for more accurate and timely eruption forecasts. So that is all for my presentation. Once again, I am Jed Escausapin, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.